on continuing. One day, George smelled rain on the wind. Before long, thunder grumbled. It boomed, boomed, clang, and rumbled. George didn't mind. But with each clap of thunder, Zippy raced in crazy circles. He picked, he chewed, he dashed, he crashed until finally, out! Rain poured down. Wind shook the treetops. Then, boom, a crack, clang. Zippy was gone. Oh no. There he goes. He'll get lost. It's a terrible storm. But George thumped his tail. At last, he'd have his bed all to himself. George begged the woman, "Go find Zippy." George stretched and grounded. "Come on, George," the man pleaded. "Here, George," the woman said, "smell this." George studied Zippy's blanket. If there was one thing George could do, was follow a smell. Through whipping wind and needled rain, George led the way, nose to the ground. He sniffed and whiffled, snorted and twitched. You can leave it there. He smelt 1,000 scents, but followed one. Past a farmhouse in shambles, a clothesline and thorny brambles. George tracked the scent. When the man and woman turned back, George pressed on, following his nose. Up steep step and down he went, to the top of a seesaw, to the ground again. Along a slippery rail, over a rotten pipe, down along the valley, through the swampy, murky mire, George kept on going until his nose led him to a shivery, shaky, wet, and quaky Zippy, stuck in the thick, oozy muck. Zippy whimpered, Zippy whined, he twisted and turned, he wriggled and crunched. But the harder he tried to reach the bark, the deeper and deeper, the deeper he sank. "Wah-woo!" cried George. Then George stretched himself across a log. He grabbed Zippy's collar and held fast. Slow and steady, steady and slow. George tugged and pulled and tugged, until out Zippy popped. Yippee, yippee, yip, 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 yip. Zippy is so happy. The dog touched nose, then George led the way. He sniffed and whiffed, snorted and twitched, following the trail through the swampy, murky mire, over a rotten pipe, down a slippery slide, until "It's Zippy!" they cried. "You found him! Oh, George, you're some dog," said the man. "Our dog," said the woman. From that day on, Georgie and Zippy got along just fine. George always had a place to rest his wavery head. Every day He studied thousands of cents in the wind. And when they all went fishing, George rode in the middle, steady and still. There's Zippy down here, Zippy down there, and Zippy right there. It's like Finn and Felix. And most nights, George didn't mind sharing even in his sleep. Zip, zip, zip. The end. Slum Dog.